Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Yeah, bing bong, New York Knicks, baby.
Yeah, bing fucking bong.
You got it.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Be Gay Solve Crimes. I am November Kelly, and I am joined by, sadly, just the one of my co-hosts and co-detectives today.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We are mirrorless.
We are mirrorless today, but I am Lucy, your local librarian, and I am here as always. And we are joined by a very special guest. When you want to introduce yourself?
Howdy, I'm Josh. I am very excited to be here. I'm sure the fans are sorry that Mia can't be around, but I will do my best to pod well in her stead.
Yeah,
I'm sure that you will.
absolutely.
Josh of Worst of All Possible Worlds.
And
baby.
ill-conceived, yes.
And ill-conceived, yeah. Plug them all. Plug them all. That's what we're here
I
for.
host 2 podcasts. They're great. You should listen to them.
Absolutely. But to us, you are not just a guest, not just a friend, but you're also our senior Columbo correspondent.
That's true.
Oh, I thought you were about to say honorary trans woman. Just
Hey, thank you.
Well, we can do that too if you like.
That's
yeah.
up to you at the end of the day. I'm not the one who confers the honorifics here.
it's like Nova said, it's like Olive Garden when you hear your family.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, no, I am very excited to talk about Columbo because it's also something that's more recent in my life. Like, we covered it on our show a couple years ago. Was it a couple years ago? Maybe a year and a half ago? Whatever. And it's one of those kinds of shows where once you watch one, you're just like, oh my God, I have to watch all of this. At least that's how it was for me the first time I started watching.
And for both me and Lucy, this was our first episode of
Yeah.
Columbo. I had never seen one
Yeah,
before.
my Columbo virginity has been taken.
Don't frame it like that. That's uncomfortable.
The thing is, I am already addicted. Within a few minutes of being introduced to this bedraggled, scruffy-haired, short king, I was like, you know what? I need about 1 million episodes of this guy, and what luck, they've already made them.
They sure have. And all of those episodes are anywhere between like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. So you get plenty of bang for your buck.
Hell yeah. And this is by no means the only Columbo episode we're going to do. We will absolutely return and do more of him in the future, I'm sure.
What we're going to do is we're introducing him to the canon here because, we'd only known about Columbo through the kind of pop cultural osmosis here. And so, Lucy, you picked, in order for us to get to, the wife lover,
Yes.
the coat wearer,
Yeah.
the just one more thing sayer, the capital of Sri Lanka himself.
Captain Luxurious.
Yeah, you picked an episode out for us by feel.
Yeah. I vibed it out with the dowsing rod of my lesbianism. I put my hand over all of the episodes and waited for one to reverberate with energy at me. And it so happens, to my mind, that this is the most transgender episode of Columbo I've ever seen, certainly. We'll have to
Just
watch some more.
statistically, definitionally it is, yeah.
There is apparently a very good joke with Columbo where his wife refers to him as the second best police officer in the police department behind 80 people tied for first, which I think is a very sweet little joke.
He's in the general classification, yes. But no, we watched Season 2, early Columbo, Episode 5.
Requiem for a Fallen Star.
It may just be something to do with the way that I watched this, but this began with a kind of like red band trailer for the episode
Yes,
of Columbo
they
I
all
was
do.
about
They
to watch.
all do. So
Really? That's so frenetic.
you get a sizzle reel that kicks the thing off, is what it is. Some of them are better than others. This one was completely inscrutable. Just no
Baffling,
clue
yes.
as to what was going on here.
I thought this was something that like Jeff Bezos had done by accident because my first introduction to Peter Falk, or as they call him in Argentina, Peter Malv, was him looking at Anne Baxter from All About Eve
Anne
and
Baxter?
going, I've been in love with you all my life.
Listen, real. Like,
Real.
that's what I would say.
That is real.
That's what I do shout at the TV whenever Anne Baxter is on the
Truly,
TV.
but it made it quite difficult to follow, and I felt like I was sort of going slightly insane.
Wow, they're taking a real sort of non-linear, surrealist tone with this opening. Yeah, it does seem like the kind of thing that a TV network would sort of trim together at the beginning rather than something that they're doing like consciously.
If you want a non-linear surrealist thing, there is a bit later on in the episode where Columbo says, my wife loves mementos. So
Future episode, I guess.
future episode. Mm-hmm. or past episode. We may have done
I
it
can't
already.
recall.
It's not clear.
I'll check the. I've gotten a note here written on my arm. We've already done it. Apparently, I just forgot to upload it. I'll get around to that eventually, I'm sure.
So we are in sunny Los Angeles, California.
We are indeed.
Los Angeles has never looked better
Oh my god.
than on Columbo. Like, just the way that this show showcases the landscape and especially the architecture of LA is second to none, genuinely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if they ever make LA Noire 2, they should set it in the 70s and do it sort of Columbo style.
For sure.
I think. Yeah.
And they could just call it Columbo, you know.
They could.
There you
Columbo
go.
the video.
Team Bondi, get on that. I'm pretty sure you haven't existed for 20 years. But, like, come on.
Rejoin
the
together.
extremely motion captured Peter Falk.
Apologize for all of, the workplace labor violations.
Instead of X to doubt, it's X to say my wife.
But never my ex-wife.
Well, Columbo does kind of have three moves, but instead of truth, doubt, and lie, it's my wife, just one more thing, and that bothered me.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. He's so baffled. He's constantly tousling his hair, and so it's sort of perpetually like up in a kind of sort of cotton candy Jimmy Neutron kind of thing.
But so the thing about Columbo is that it's not a whodunit, right? It's a how catch 'em.
Yep.
And so we begin with the murder, and it takes a long time over this as well. You get a whole sort of like miniature drama where you have an aging starlet, Anne Baxter, Eve from All About Eve, which in itself is a beautiful little irony, being sort of confronted with this weird love/blackmail triangle.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that we see is her like unloading an entire revolver into some guy taking a shower, but it turns out that that's just a movie that she's filming because despite being a fading starlet, she is actually still active in Hollywood.
As a TV actor, they do the thing from Perfect Blue. Which have either of you seen Perfect Blue, the anime? Yeah. So they do the thing from that, which is there will be times where there is action happening. It'll cut from one scene to the next, but it turns out that what's happening in the scene is just a shoot for a show.
And we gotta hope that joke doesn't, become cloying after all.
I loved it every
They
time.
have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, this is very much like it's the last day of school on the Columbo set.
Yeah.
And they get to like film an episode at work because it's all set on a movie studio. Well, a TV studio, but anyway. But so this aging sort of fading starlet who is still big in TV
and still gorgeous.
Oh,
she
God,
looks
yeah.
incredible. She looks so much like Gwen, wife of the show, that I nearly spat out my
my
drink
God.
while watching it.
Yeah.
It's just incredible
but
hair.
walks back in on a man I can only describe as best value Addison DeWitt from All About Eve. They weren't necessarily above mining these things. You're sort of like sleazy, like sort of blackmail.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Piers Morgan in the most fucked cravat you've ever seen in your life, I guess. Just
His neckwear across the board throughout this episode is fucking insane.
It's all like ascots and neckerchiefs.
Yeah, that was in at the time.
It's meant to suggest that this man is sort of like, he's a rake, he's a ruin. He is importuning her longtime assistant. As we later are told, by the way, this woman who is quite young has been her assistant for 18 years non-stop.
Yeah, apparently they are very close friends.
Yes.
Just two women.
Yeah, constant companion of 18 years. Listen, dream job, right? Is being Anne Baxter's constant companion of 18 years. I'd take that. I'd take that gig.
Yeah.
Anything she needs me to do. I will leave my union just to be more exploited in this situation.
But so this blackmailer, whose name is Jerry Parks, he's trying to sort of romance her assistant.
With some success, it seems.
Yeah.
And she is trying to sort of psychically convey to her that this guy is bad news. They have a beautiful little sort of like invisible fight over lighting his cigarette.
Yeah.
The way that it's played, too, is kind of a fun reversal of expectations thing, because you think that she's about to walk in on her husband
Yes.
or boyfriend or whatever cheating with a woman. And it turns out that it's her secretary cheating with another man.
Cheating with a gossip columnist
That's
that has
right.
been biting at her heels and up her ass for the entire time. And he wants to write her biography, apparently, and she is refusing to let him have unfettered access to all of her records and things like that.
Yeah, she rightly realizes, Nora, the Ann Baxter, rightly realizes that this scummy guy is just trying to use her secretary Jean to get to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real long con, is like to, try and marry someone for that.
There's a beautiful shot where she goes to slap him, and it's this long overhand sort of windmill that takes 2 flights in a connecting train to get anywhere near him.
Yeah. Never announce it. Spring forward like a cricket's leg, nose bone into the brain. That's what you do in that scenario.
James Bond in that one comic. Yeah. And of course he sort of blocks this easily because it's very, very telegraphed.
He parries it.
Yeah, and he sort of menaces her, right? He threatens her with this kind of exposure, right? Because he knows her secrets if she doesn't play along. And there's a beautiful shot because she's in her bungalow, right, on the studio.
Yeah, the studio around it, like the house in Up.
That's what's worth noting. She lives on the studio lot, right? That's table stakes here. Eventually, we learn that she was like basically property of the studio all the way back to childhood, sort of like a Shirley Temple type. And one of the things that she got was this fucking house on the lot that she lives in.
In the background, she's got like big 8x10 glossies framed, like her old glamour shots, and she's just like stanced up in front of them, stressing like an inverse Timothy Dalton in Hot Fuzz.
Well, I like the way that she sort of like yawns her way out of an embezzlement accusation. It's just sort of like, well, it's time for me to go to bed. Certainly got no one to kill later today.
Old Aurora Borealis. Yeah. It's because he is going to expose her for having embezzled from the studio to make one of her movies, right? Which was notably unsuccessful. And so, having given her assistant this like long list of tasks, she then follows her to a bookshop where she goes to meet up with this scummy guy, Parks.
I love the implication that she's giving her assistant errands to run because she wants to like sabotage their date. Like I don't know about you, but I picked up there's like pretty abundant sapphic overtones here.
Yes.
Oh, very much. It's like an Almodovar movie. It's crazy.
The scene where basically Nora is talking to Jean, being like, please don't go.
Tears in her eyes.
Tears in her eyes. The way that she touches her hand, her face, it's wild.
Yeah.
In particular, like, as something that is very clearly, at least in my estimation, intended to be a queer-coded scene to the extent that you could get away with it on TV in 1972.
Yeah. She puts on this beautiful little, like, headscarf, ties a knot under it, and she blasts Chapel Roan's Good Luck Babe all the way to this bookshop.
And then we sort of cut from her assistant driving away from the bookshop to Ann Baxter just pouring a bunch of gasoline, petrol out of a jerry can just onto the ground, which was how they told you to get rid of it in the 60s and 70s.
This is during the 1973 oil crisis, right?
That's liquid gold!
Rationing, yeah.
Well, this is a very expensive murder method that she's doing here.
And this is a classic thing in all of these episodes of Columbo, where it'll fake you out a couple times before it gets to really setting up what the crime is actually going to be.
You could have opened with this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then had Columbo uncover all of the sort of like love triangle blackmail stuff. But no. It wants you to... And like this is, I guess, one of the neat things about getting to play like the victim on an episode of Columbo, or like, you know, the sort of second billing in an episode of Columbo, is you get to do a little bit of this before the guy even shows up.
Also, can I just say, burning someone to death is
crazy.
Like a real aggressive murder method. Like, not especially chic.
No.
Oh, I'm just going to burn you to death while you are trapped in your car.
The net effect of all of this, from seeing the relationship and all of that develop, plus the thing that makes Nora turn all the way through to the murder, is that it stakes you in the relationship. The best episodes of Columbo are all like this, where it's not about the crime itself, it's about the way that these people interact with each other, and then the way that Columbo himself is able to tease apart the relationships between these characters and find the things that make them tick. That's what makes it different from any other crime procedural for me.
So she burns her alive. And then, of course, Columbo shows up, you think. No. Still not yet. Still no Columbo.
No.
Instead, you have to get some more Anne Baxter.
You have to. You do have to.
I say you have to. You are delighted to get some more Anne Baxter.
I could never get enough Anne Baxter.
And we see that the sort of the politics of the studio are such that there are like two studio heads who are coming into town, one of whom sort of loves her and the other one and just like tolerates her but is exasperated. And they're openly discussing her as property as well, because one of them has bought the studio from the other.
Real creepy. It's a slimy studio system.
It's bad, it turns out. She gets the news that someone has been killed, and she perfectly hits the, like, why do you have so many points in lie kind of like, oh no.
Yeah.
But then when she finds out that it's her assistant, then she faints.
That's
She
right.
swoons.
And very, very believably so. At this point, we are led to believe that she had intended to kill that guy, that scummy columnist, and instead killed her secretary, lover, best friend of 18 years.
Yeah.
This is a tragedy. You try to save your girlfriend from the sort of attentions of this guy, and you end up murdering her.
Nightmare fuel, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
the Columbo
Yeah.
seems to take a comedic, light-hearted tone, but, like, accidentally killing your unrequited lesbian partner of 18 years? I would also be screaming, crying, throwing up in the middle of the restaurant. Yeah.
I'm not even
Yeah.
convinced it's necessarily unrequited. I think it is. I think the subtext, to me personally, and I'm curious at what your readings are. To me, the subtext was played in such a way where it was like, oh no, this could very well be a mutual relationship, or could
I
have
think so.
for a long period of time. And part of what makes it feel like a betrayal for Nora is the fact that Jean is now cleaving away from her, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, suddenly, you know, sort of being straight after however many years.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
companionship. Yeah.
It is good luck, babe. The comp het finally got her.
Bisexuals don't exist is the thing that we want to make clear as a
That's right.
podcast.
Yeah, I think we can make that sort of
We can go on record.
preceptual,
That's right. We're erasing you. Sorry, guys.
Now we get Columbo. Because rolling up to the gate of the studio in
The filthiest
The shittiest car you've ever seen. Yep.
it's sort of like this is
incredible.
trying to establish that Columbo is sort of like blue collar and is a working man, but it really just seems like he just like washes that car with battery acid because every surface of it is scuffed. He is driving a car from LA Noire.
I'll call up Victoria about it now. Yo, is that professional automotive journalist Victoria Scott?
Hello, I'm professional automotive journalist Victoria Scott.
What's your professional automotive journalist opinion?
My professional automotive journalistic opinion about Columbo's busted-ass Peugeot, I believe, is that it is the only car that I have ever seen as a hero vehicle in a television show or movie that I had to Google what it was because they sold basically none of them here. It's kind of brilliant. It works really well for him. It's extremely rare and he clearly loves it, but it is also, like, completely unimportant to anybody that is not ridiculously car-brained. It fits so well with his characterization. It goes to show for me that like Peter Falk really understood the character he was playing because he chose this car from the backlot of the studio where they filmed Columbo when they were getting the show set up. And he was like, that's perfect for this character. And he was right. It fits the whole kind of like strange, eccentric, shabby, you know, it's fine. If it's not broke, don't replace it kind of mentality of Columbo. I love it.
Smashing. Thanks so much. And everyone else, listen to Trangarlismo, baby.
Wait until you see his fucking dog that he gets later on. Oh, man.
my
Yeah.
God.
Josh, what's his dog called?
It depends. It depends.
Oh,
He's constantly trying to come up with a good name for it. That's a
I
runner.
don't mean for that to sound like introducing like H.P. Lovecraft's cat or anything.
Guy workshopping a bit to name his dog
Yep.
with for about 3 years.
From my research of this, I was under the impression that his dog is just called Dog.
Yeah, he can't figure out what he wants to call it. It's a runner.
Aw.
But so Columbo brackets no first name is an extremely rumpled, disheveled, slovenly, schlubby-looking cop who no one believes is a cop on first sight,
Right.
not least because he's sort of embedded in this sort of like grotty overcoat as well.
Doing research for this, I was amazed at the fact that Peter Falk, if I'm pronouncing that correctly,
Peter Malf.
basically all of Columbo's outfits are his own clothes that he just rocked up in, and they were like, oh, perfect, well, just go right through. And so that's his coat. He already had the detective coat somehow, just like, you know, in the cupboard. And interesting. I wonder what's happening there.
It's also an interesting thing where in season 1, he doesn't look quite as rumpled and disheveled, But I think they sort of locked into realizing that this character is at his best, and Peter Falk is at his best when he just looks like he rolled out of bed wearing all of his clothes.
Yeah, this is like ADHD chaos gremlin, and I love him so much immediately when he's like, "No, I have a sticker on my window to let me park in this. Where's my sticker gone? I was here a second ago."
It's a beautiful establishing thing, because how could you lose that? So he goes...
It's stuck! The clue's in the name!
It's just the sort of miasma in the air has like eaten through the adhesive.
It's amazing.
You know,
Yeah.
I know he smells crazy bad.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Falk described the character as being an ass backwards Sherlock Holmes, quote unquote. That is just, yeah, no, I get it.
It's a beautiful piece of Americanism, you know? It makes me feel sort of like patriotic for your stupid country. But so he goes to Anne Baxter's bungalow, and my favorite little detail is that as he's knocking on the door, he checks to make sure his fly is done up.
It looks like he's tucking, right? Like, that's what, I don't know.
Kind of. I know we're about to say that Columbo is transgender, but I don't know. Is this suggesting here that the incredibly gross overcoat is taking the place of the boy motor hoodie?
Yeah, the boy motor trench coat. Well, the thing is, he goes up and adjusts his zip, and then he turns around and he like checks his nails as well, just like very subtly.
It's like, yep, still dirty.
Yeah, it's like just from touching the steering wheel of that car immediately.
As soon as he comes into this beautiful set, which again they're having fun with the fact that this is a set. He sees Anne Baxter. He is immediately stunned by her, and who wouldn't be?
Yeah, just amazing.
We get a beautiful piece of dialogue where he says, "I've been in love with you all my life," and she says, "I know." Which
just powerful stuff.
Very powerful.
Ideal fan interaction. I'm stealing that one.
The thing that I really loved about this, but he says that my wife has loved you as well ever since she was a kid, and then immediately corrects himself to say ever since she was in high school, to imply that she was a little older, and that it's not like someone who saw you when they were a kid is now old enough to marry me.
Right,
you know,
right.
just like bringing that age
Yeah.
gap, just like trying to flatter her a little bit. And that's a real intuitive, like, sensitivity to what this woman will feel emotionally is important. I think is really lovely.
This is the thing about Columbo and the way that he works. And it's cool the more episodes you watch, the way that he locks in to the sort of egos and weaknesses and sensitivities of these people. And he always has this persona that he puts on, this sort of like faux naif kind of, oh, I'm just, you know, listen, I don't really, my wife, you know, it's that sort of thing. And again, to the point of how so much the fun of the show for me is around the social intelligence of it all, seeing the way that he interacts with the person who because in most episodes, he knows who did it right away, or at least has a very strong inclination. And so the question is, what tools is he going to use to tease that?
Going into librarian mode here. This is part of sort of the literary background for the character, because he was created for television, but the writers based him on, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Porfiry Petrovich from Crime and Punishment, who is sort of like the antagonist against Raskolnikov's character. This cop just biting at his heels and will not give up. He's like an endurance predator, just sort of like exhausting him.
He's sort of like Javert played on a Wurlitzer. He's just like, it's...
Yeah, exactly.
This is a terrifying character if you think about him for too long.
Crime and Punishment future episode, incidentally.
In the same way that you can be like, Bugs Bunny is the avatar of a trickster god, right? In the same way, Columbo is like an extremely dogged and perceptive detective, but much like a sort of D&D character in a campaign that's getting out of hand, he's got to do about 1 million bits and dialogue options in front of you first before he gets there. And
he is so distractible.
Oh yeah. He's immediately like calling all of his like friends and family on the phone, trying to get his wife on the phone, talking to his brother-in-law, trying to get Anne Baxter to record a cameo for him.
So good.
It's amazing.
I'd kind of figured at this point, too, that the phone thing would be a gambit, because that's another thing that he frequently does, is that he will have somebody do something on false pretenses to get a piece of evidence. But in this case, no, the phone thing is just because he thinks it's a fun thing to do.
He's just a fan.
He just loves her.
He's ride or die. He's fangirling out here. It's amazing. We should talk very briefly to people who are unfamiliar with Columbo, as I was before going into this, that Columbo's wife, who gets brought up and mentioned by this most uxorious of detectives all the way through, is never seen on screen, in the main show at least.
Like Rumpole of the Bailey, who is also a kind of detective and therefore is a future episode.
All detectives. We were not kidding.
One of the classic gambits, unseen wife.
A tragedy.
Her indoors. You know, she who must be obeyed. Because it's almost like there's a kind of guy, right? There's a kind of male writer who is like, the great love, the great woman of my protagonist's life is like, I can't depict her.
Yeah.
She's too perfect.
Exactly.
You know?
And I love the fact that he is unambiguously uxorious in an era of the old ball and chain, my bitch wife kind of like attitude.
Oh, women are queens in this episode. Like, there's a specific... I'm going to lay my cards on the table here, right? Because this is an episode about trying to make the case that Columbo is transgender. I don't think Columbo is trans femme. I think Columbo is trans masc.
I was going to say the same thing. Thank you for saying it for me.
There are a few reasons for that. I'm just looking at this kind of short man who seems to enjoy being dirty, who idolizes all of these kind of statuesque, beautiful women who are taller than him, and is just sort of very affable. And when he looks at the sort of portrait of her ex-husband, long since dead, he goes... Hey, your husband was just a little guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I noticed Peter Falk is like 5'2", and I'm like, yeah, buddy.
A man that I'm the same height of, you say? Wow, that's amazing. I think that Columbo has, especially in this episode, some really, really trans femme vibes, and so I'll try and make an alternate case as we go along.
Every scene that he has with Anne Baxter is straight T for T. It just is. It's like, it's a beautiful... They're kind of couple goals sometimes.
It's amazing.
He notices that this husband, right, who was like also a big like studio mogul and then like disappeared years ago, was in the Shriners. And he then immediately gets distracted and goes, I had an uncle who played bagpipes in the Shriners band, and I realized how much of verbal Kint from The Usual Suspects is just a Columbo bit.
Yeah, no, I see it, you know. It's ambiguous about exactly how much of his scatterbrainedness is, like, sincerely him, or how much of it is to disarm the people that he's talking to so that he can get sort of, like, one up on them.
It's both. It's always both at the same time, which is great.
He asks for a memento from her garden and goes and takes a really close look at the fountain that she has back there, which is not running, and then takes like a wildflower, and then sort of springs the trap or remembers that he's a cop, depending on what sort of interpretation.
Oh yeah, shit, I'm meant to be doing my job here.
Process you endorse, where he goes, oh yeah, by the way, we have to interview you in relation to the murder of your girlfriend of 18 years.
The bit with the flower, like from a trans femme perspective, really stuck out to me, because like the thesis that I sort of was forming as I was watching this is that, you know, there's a lot of like fan theories about, oh, what if Columbo's wife doesn't actually exist?
No, she's
like
real.
That.
She's real.
A Tyler Durden wife?
And I don't know that. I don't know about that. But the thing is that irrespective of whether or not she's real, and I think she is real, what she serves as emotionally for our dear Columbo is a way for him to interact with femininity with a plausible deniability. It's being like, oh, can I go over, are those like roses? Just sort of going over and picking, like looking at the flowers and engaging with things that I imagine that the 1970s would have thought was axiomatically gay shit, with the shield and protection of being a wife guy registered trademark, whereas actually he just genuinely seems to have an interest in these things, and an interest in jewelry and an interest in clothes.
It's
and
interesting.
things like that.
It's interesting.
Other people's clothes, not his own.
What a lovely garden, fountain and everything. Can I have a memento? Not for me, for my wife. She loves mementos. Certainly. Every time we go into a fancy restaurant, she steals an ashtray. But for me, it's embarrassing in my line of work.
I take this to be a sort of a guy who is happy being a guy, but who is just worshipping at the altar of femininity. It's something I always like to encourage.
I can see both.
So he takes her to police headquarters, where he does the worst parking job I've ever seen filmed. And just stops in the middle of the fucking parking lot.
Listen, I'm a passenger princess. I can't comment on anyone else's driving.
Yeah, I think I can give you one worse, and that's Lieutenant Frank Drebin in Police Squad.
Yeah.
Future episode.
Police
baby.
Squad is definitely satirizing a lot of Columbo. But he parks next to the burned out ruins of the Jaguar E-Type that she killed her girlfriend in, and it just sort of has her like saunter over and does this kind of brutal psychological warfare that is completely deniable by the simple expedient of him not knowing he's doing it, ostensibly.
Yeah.
Of just being like, yeah, it's crazy how she like burned to death like that.
It's a really brutal way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
They have ascertained that the reason why they seem to swap cars was because of a flat tire. And Columbo at this stage is under the impression that, you know, they were trying to kill the gossip columnist and that the death of the assistant was an accident.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my concentration and focus was completely derailed in this scene by the fact that Anne Baxter is wearing a jumper that just says, "Ah!"
Oh, that shirt was fantastic. I feel like I need right now to shout out Grady Hunt, who's the costume designer on most of these Columbos from the 70s, because every single episode, the costumes are fucking on point.
Absolutely incredible.
Both from a character perspective and just from the perspective of showing you the best that 70s clothing had to offer.
Oh, yeah. There's a suit that she's wearing later on that I'm going to talk about for an hour and a half.
But it's like, particularly the way that costumes are used to signal class standing is a big thing.
Yeah.
Columbo as a show is obsessed with class and the way that class dynamics work in the United States, and particularly the way that you can very quickly signal your standing via the clothing that you wear.
Yeah.
And it uses these details to show us not just like, oh, are they rich, are they poor, but also are they old money, are they new money, and things like that as well. You don't get quite as much of that in this episode, but there are some episodes where you have dynastic wealth that is coming up against new money, and so much of that is signaled through clothing, which I just think is really fucking cool.
Interesting. Well, the thing with this, I mean, we'll talk about this much later when they do make an appearance, but this episode is encyclopedically fascinated and interested in costume design, and this will be very important for my thesis later. I can already see Josh getting very excited because
I just love costumes. I love clothes.
Okay, let's keep going then.
She makes this kind of statement against interest because she swoons again and goes, if only I'd known. And again, we're sort of leaning on this idea that like this was some huge mistake, right? But she hasn't admitted to anything.
And Columbo insinuates that he knows about the fact that the assistant and the gossip columnist were having an affair. And it's interesting to me that Anne Baxter sort of takes a deliberate step to try and repudiate that from the official record and to dismiss it and insinuate that he's making it up and claiming ownership of her in hindsight, despite the fact that like sort of also kind of what she's doing is, you know, because this is an assistant, irrespective of whether or not there was a pre-existing lesbian relationship there, she has expressed a desire to go off and be with someone else, and she really can't handle that, you know?
But so he goes just to interview Parks now. And having sort of, like, seen the exploded car remains in his driveway, he forces his way inside by the sort of pretext of asking to use his phone and then forgetting to use the phone because he's just doing bits at him.
Going and being like, can I use your phone? Picking up the phone and being like, wow, cool house, and putting the phone down and immediately walking around. It's like,
yeah,
this guy's a joker. He's
wow,
a
sure got a lot of items that I could interact with here.
Yeah.
You know, like, Columbo's psyche is very point-and-click adventure
I
game.
need the Columbo point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah,
I
well,
need it.
like picking up the phone moves the quest forward. You know, you want to make sure that you've explored everything before you get to the next cutscene, right?
And so this guy Parks, he has like files and files of blackmail material, some of which is pretty dark. Columbo just offhandedly mentions a guy's casting couch, for instance, and that doesn't go anywhere.
Learn the truth about Hollywood's most idyllic marriage. About Nora's secret fights with her husband. About Al Cumberland's famous casting couch.
Oh, casting couch. Yes, I've heard of that term.
Parks is quite dismissive of Anne Baxter, right? And Columbo stands up for her, right? Because he says that she's, past her prime, and he, somewhat knowingly given Anne Baxter's career, goes, hey, she's still pretty important on TV in The Late Show.
Yeah, right. It's like he's going in to defend these people. It's really, really sweet.
Specifically, there's a really quite romantic bit where he remembers, as a younger man, seeing a romance film that she made, and he remembers the plot where she gets married the day she graduates high school, and the guy didn't love her.
The most painful thing that you can imagine is someone getting married like right out of high school and burning away so much of their life on someone who turned out to not love them at all. He's beginning to choke up just like telling this.
Yeah.
The one thing that he can't abide is someone who is not a wife guy. You know?
Yeah, right.
Depths of Columbo's soul. But so we see Anne Baxter calls Parks on the phone in the midst of this, and he tries to like dissuade Columbo from suspecting this by being like, oh, sorry, it's a wrong number, call back. Columbo is immediately on him because after doing this reminiscence, he goes, oh, by the way, that was a woman who called you on the phone, wasn't it?
Yeah, the transfem line of the show here where he sort of like finishes a conversation, then goes back and being like,
Why do you keep saying he?
why do you keep saying he?
That was a woman who just called you on the phone, wasn't it? Because I notice when a man calls and he gets the wrong number, I just say, sorry, wrong number, something like that. Only when it's a woman, well, I guess it's just natural to be more polite.
Yeah, he has intuited from the way that Parks has spoken on the phone, just from one half of a conversation, that he must have been talking to a woman. And again, this like encyclopedic, hyper-vigilant awareness of the differences in which men get treated from women in his time is a very transgender thing, so far as I am concerned, to be sort of that acutely aware of it at all
Very
times.
sensitive. Yeah.
It could also, though, to the point of which direction we're going here, be a trans-mask sensitivity of somebody who is treated differently than had been the case before and is now taken more seriously than in the past.
He has this kind of theory of sort of like male and female socialization, but he doesn't miss.
No.
And of course, he knows, but Parks still kind of dissembles. Incidentally, it's crazy how the guy playing Parks sounds like all of the voices in Frontier Psychiatrist.
Okay. That is so obscure. We get a rendezvous between Anne Baxter and the gossip columnist. Surely no one will be able to identify
So
me
fucking
in
funny.
my red tights and my massive circular glasses.
In my red Cadillac.
Because, of course, Columbo shows up immediately.
Oh, he does. He does. If I was the gossip columnist in this situation, I'd be marching up to Anne Baxter now that we've finally got a second to talk sort of freely and be like, Austin? You are going to fucking burn me to death?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You couldn't just, like, shoot me while my back was turned and have it be instantaneous? You were gonna burn me alive?
Yeah.
In a locked car?
What we get instead is this kind of like fencing match between them before Columbo shows up, where he's like, well, I know something else about you, and she accuses him of bluffing.
Yes.
And then they have this sort of like forced truce where they have to pretend not to hate each other when Columbo's there.
Yeah, it's a stalemate because it turns out that Anne Baxter has been having copies made of all the correspondence and love letters and billet doux between the gossip columnist and her assistant to prove that the gossip columnist is skint and has been begging the assistant for money, and the assistant's actually been embezzling funds, I believe, and sort of siphoning money away, and that this would serve as a motive if she was to present it to the police. So they're now like standoff, guns pointed at each other's heads.
Well, the other gun here is him going, you killed your 5'2" husband.
He hints at that, but we don't know about it yet, I don't think. But he insinuates that there is something that she's done, and we as viewers at this stage...
He insinuates it to Columbo, right? I think the line is, her dear departed husband would be spinning in his grave if he had one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Interesting.
And this is a cool little thing that the show does, is it just sort of plants little flags in your head here and there to sort of show you where everybody is at, where Columbo's head is at, and things you might want to keep an eye on as a viewer, while not spelling the whole thing out for you.
Because I think at this, I can't remember exactly where in the episode it's specified, but we learned that her husband supposedly died at sea.
A great place to die mysteriously and support your local medical examiner. But so he goes to bother her on set again.
Yeah.
And he, in the course of this, talks to the makeup artist who like brings her a drink because the walls are closing in, right? And he asks, hey, does she do that often? Only when she's under pressure.
Yeah, the alcohol that she doesn't habitually use, but they keep in a thermos? They have just like a thermos of alcohol off to the side?
Keeps it nice and warm.
The makeup artist, was that the guy with the highest waisted pants in the world? Was that guy? Yeah,
that was
my
him.
God. That was insane.
And the rowing sweater, yeah.
Couldn't get over those pants. So cool.
There's a great bit where he just sort of like pushes her on this, just but you know, very Socratically just asking the questions of like, hey, so it's the craziest thing. If the tire that made them switch cars was like let down, we've had it in like a tub of water back at police headquarters because we don't have anything better to do, and it's not leaking, so we don't know how that happened.
Yeah, this is back when car tires were just like a sort of balloon animal wrapped around it.
I'm just confused. I'm sure it's probably nothing. And so she makes her excuses, and the makeup artist brings her a drink and goes,
My. Aren't we perspiring?
yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
How good does it feel to get closer to the truth here?
Yeah.
He's got to talk to the studio head, the one who doesn't like her. Best value Robert Redford, in this case. Who invites him to join him on a silly little electric golf cart thing and drive around the studio.
It's so small. It's like...
and tells him she's had this like bungalow in the middle of the studio lot since she was a child star because the other studio head is in love with her. And we can't refinance anything until she moves out.
That's right.
She won't sell it for any price.
Yeah, it's not the first 10 minutes from the movie Up, but the second 10 minutes from the movie Up.
Let me just go into my mind palace of every 10 minutes from the movie Up and go into room 2 here.
After the first sad 10 minutes of the movie Up, the second more neutral 10 minutes of the movie Up that's about like American real estate.
That's right. And I found this really interesting, actually, because the idea here is that they've got the lot, but because it's LA in the 70s, they've realized that one of the things that they can do is subdivide this lot, parcel some of it off, and sell that real estate to somebody else to use it for other purposes, which is a very real thing. In fact, this is still happening now. Like, if this fucking Paramount merger goes through, one of those lots is going to get almost entirely repurposed because the other lot will be redundant. I think they're going to be downsizing the Warner lot, if I recall correctly, and keeping the Paramount lot. Or it might be the other way around. I don't know. Again, point remains, to the point of this show's obsession with what is happening in LA at the time. Like, you joke, it's about the vagaries of American real estate, but this is a driving material force in this city at this time. And the show is locked into that fact.
Robert Redford is he's trying to make Studio City a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
This is the thing with Los Angeles, is that no one imagines themselves to be, you know, the proletarian extra. Everyone thinks that they're a temporarily embarrassed Nepo baby and that their time will come and they will eventually get the studio house.
Well, and it's so cool to see those old houses up in the hills, right? The ones that were all sort of designed in the mid-century modern style. The one where the car explodes at the beginning of the episode. Because those houses used to be on lots that had so much space around them. And so you could just have this sort of simple mid-century modern design. You go out, you look over the hills, you see Hollywood. Now those hills are fucking packed to the gills with the ugliest houses you have ever seen in your life.
I wonder, would these houses have been considered equally ugly at the time?
No.
No.
Modern, stylish,
Height of luxury.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
in many cases specifically commissioned for the purpose of showcasing cutting edge architecture.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But so Columbo now has to sort of mooch about every different part of the studio just for funsies.
Yeah.
So he goes to the props department.
There's a little like throwaway moment that my trans femme ass locked onto where as he's sort of like looking around, and it sort of seems like the TV show company that made this is sort of like letting people have a peek behind the curtain. But they walk past with this massive portrait of a nude woman reclining on a sofa looking in a mirror,
they do.
and this seems to captivate Columbo as he sort of like rotates to follow it out, sort of being like, ooh, interesting. And I'm like, I see you, I see what you're doing. I don't
know. I think he just likes a hot lady. I think that's all it is.
Why not both?
He has a gynophilic agenda. I think we can be clear about that. But like, whether or not that extends to himself, I don't know.
I have more evidence. Just one more thing. I will come back.
One more thing.
But so he then has to go to the costume department.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And Edith.
Motherfucking Edith Head as herself. I am pretty sure that those are her actual Oscars on the desk.
They are. This is her office.
Because this is the Universal lot that they're shooting on here.
They just get a cameo, an extended cameo, even from Edith Head and the whole costume department.
Okay, for listeners who are not as gay or as trans femme or as music theatre nerds as we
might
are.
know her from the They Might Be Giants song. She thinks she's Edith Head.
Or you might know her from The Incredibles, where the character of Edna Mode was very clearly modeled after her directly.
She is easily, I think, the most Academy Awarded woman ever.
Yeah.
Absolute costume designing royalty. I am not going to list them all because we will be here for the rest of the episode, but to name but a few of the films that she did the costume designing for, we have Double Indemnity, All About Eve, Sunset Boulevard, Roman Holiday, Rear Window, To Catch a Thief, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Witness for the Prosecution, Funny Face, Vertigo, Breakfast at Tiffany's, The Birds, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh my god.
Future episodes, about 80% of those, I think.
Yeah, but Butch and Sundance, we'll figure out how.
Like, for all of the screen queens of the Golden Age, she was their costume designer. Including Ann Baxter.
And the thing is, a lot of straight dudes will not be interested in that. But Columbo is very aware of who Edith Head is.
There's two ways to read this scene, right? Before he meets Edith Head, he just like walks through walks through the costume department, which is full of incredibly beautiful women in sort of like this. You're sort of like Busby Berkeley kind of like showgirl outfits, right? And here's the thing: they're all so tall. And he's so short.
Yeah.
And I have known so many men who are like, fuck yeah, I get to be a man now. Dirt. But still deeply admire beautiful, tall women.
See, I mean, real, as we established on the fucking Inspector Gadget episode.
You know what this looks like? This looks like one of the posts where a trans man is like, oh, you want me to use this bathroom? Where it's like, it's a selfie of like an extremely rumpled looking guy in an overcoat in the like women's costume department being like, oh, does this make sense to you?
Is this who you want in your carpeted 70s bathroom, Joanne? The thing with this is that my alternative interpretation of this is that I too have become immediately heart-achingly sad with longing about seeing tall, beautiful women who are like the polar opposite of me and being like, oh god. So the thing that I would posit is that, like, for the trans men that I know, there's admiration there, but one of the overwhelming feelings is one of like, relief, because it's like I appreciate it for what it is, but I'm glad that I'm a dude. Whereas like Columbo here, this is projection completely, but that's, the bread and butter of this podcast.
That's how we make movies.
That is longing. That is gender dysphoria. And he goes in and, again, fangirls out about seeing Edith Head.
He does do that, yeah.
Ann Baxter is there trying on a dress and turns to him and says,
Can you imagine walking around in that?
allows him to sort of imagine the process of being dressed by Edith Head and what that would be like, and recommends that his wife take him clothes shopping, specifically for menswear, things like suits and shirts and socks, the things that every man gets in abundance for Christmas is fucking socks, and I haven't had any socks for Christmas since I transitioned, and thank fuck for it. I'm so sick to death of Christmas socks.
You don't like getting a good pair of socks? Come on, socks are great. There's nothing beats a good pair of socks.
But the thing is I mean, my feet are much colder on estrogen is the thing. But Columbo, she looks so kind of bummed out by this in a way. It's like, oh, you have reminded me that my domain is one of menswear.
I disagree.
I just don't see it.
Really?
No,
okay.
see, the way I read this scene, what ends up happening is that Anne Baxter is seducing him, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks she's got one up on him. She doesn't, by the way. He's, as Columbo so often does, he's playing the rube for the sake of advancing the case.
Okay,
I found the quote. Sorry, the literal line is her showing the dress on herself and saying, "Can you imagine walking around in that?"
Huh.
Like there is a direct verbal, like, imagine yourself in this, like, textual confirmation that I think is really interesting.
But that's not the thing that she does to him.
No,
what
she
she
puts a
does to
tie on
him
it,
is gets a tie. And it's a beautiful tie, by the way. It's this big, chunky, early 70s ass tie.
It's the horrific necktie from Disco Elysium.
I also wrote down
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely the horrific necktie. And it doesn't really suit Columbo either, but it's when she starts putting the tie on him and sort of like pulling it on that he experiences, I think, a degree of excitement here, which is twofold. Number one, it's the tie and what the tie represents, which is, because it's a high quality, beautiful tie. Again, not beautiful necessarily aesthetically, but like clearly constructive, high quality material. You can tell.
Silky,
It is the opportunity to have class mobility and dress himself in a way that is going to comport himself more to these class standards.
That's interesting.
And also masculinity. And also, it is a seduction. He is being seduced by this beautiful woman who is presenting him with the opportunity to be touched by her and to touch her as well.
I just want to note here that there is a reverse shot where Edith Head walks in with a big bisexual flag.
I did. See, that to me were like, I don't know whether it's just the color grading on my laptop or whatever, but like I nearly spat out my drink all over my laptop, being like, she has just brought in the longest sky and bacon that we have ever seen. That I thought it was the trans
You could read
flag.
it both ways. You could read it both ways. They shouldn't make them both like so similar, maybe.
Yeah, it's the old Kodak film, over time the colors kind of shift and it's difficult to tell.
Yeah. Kodak genderchrome?
She admits to the embezzlement
Yeah.
as an attempt to disarm the gossip columnist's blackmail. She wants to take the bullet out of his gun there and be like, I'm going to let you in on this so that he can't use this against me anymore. And we then go to the gossip columnist's office where she is wearing this incredible checkered skirt suit with a dark navy blue shirt, and just she looks astounding. This is the kind like that kind of combination of blazer and dark navy blue shirt is the kind of shit that I was trying to wear pre-transition anyway.
We also get sort of the mask version of that, the blazer with the dark navy shirt on the gossip columnist a little bit earlier. In the moment I saw that jacket, I was like, I need that jacket. I need that jacket.
Good
Josh,
jackets,
if you want
both.
it, you can get
I can't. It's not 1972 anymore.
Going back in the time machine like 11/22/63 in order to
Just for the
in order
tailoring.
to wait
Yeah.
10 years, buy a double-breasted blazer and then come back.
Or just walk my ass into the costume department at Universal Studios and make out like a bandit,
Oh yeah.
I was going to say make out with Edith Head.
I mean, hell.
One of the things as well is that Columbo is sort of like gentlemanly about this. He says he does give her the option, like a sort of dialogue box before entering a boss fight. Are you sure you want to reveal this? Like, the only cop in the world who hearing a sort of confession would be like, are you sure though.
This is his idol, and it's like he doesn't want it to be true.
But the studio boss who is in love with her, who is fucking every interaction he has with Columbo is like sticking his finger in his chest and being like, listen here, I'm going to tell you what you can and can't do. You're not going to do shit about this.
Yeah.
Immediately pivots and is like, yeah, I knew she was embezzling the whole time. So there's only one card left for Parks to play here, right? Mysterious disappearance of Anne Baxter's husband back in the day.
So we cut to Anne Baxter's flat, where she seems to be a lot more relaxed. You know, the pressure is now off.
Yeah, she's done it. She is about to, dare I say it, get away with murder.
The walls are opening out.
And she is wearing...
Oh my god. Is this the suit?
This is the blue thing, right?
A pink
the pink one.
neck top
Yes.
into navy blue trousers
Right.
that are split up to the thigh.
It's got the
on
red thing
both
under
sides.
under the
Yeah,
split.
like
The side panel.
It's like
yeah.
pink
It's
very cool.
lining to
very,
the blazer.
very cool. Oh yeah, it's
Oh
pink,
my
right?
God.
And then she's got the blue blazer, which she eventually puts over it. Very, very sharp look.
incredible outfit. It just stopped me in my tracks.
And she is being dressed by her costume assistant,
Her Grungler.
her Grungler, who...
Dude, I love this guy. I love this guy.
He looks like a Zempic Sipowicz. Future episode.
Jesus Christ. I don't know the extent to which this was his demeanor or whether this was the studio telling him to camp it up, but he minces across the set,
They
right?
just got a gay man for this.
Okay, here's what I will say, right? About especially just about television of this era. They need to let guys have hair like this again.
Oh my God,
he's
real.
like balding and mustachioed and sideburns, and it's like they don't make him like this anymore.
They
you know?
don't, and they should, goddamn.
Yeah, trans women get the minoxidil, men bin it.
That's right.
Bin the minoxidil.
If attractiveness is culturally determined, and Hollywood is the cultural determinant factory, start determining. You know?
Exactly.
Broaden that shit back out again. There's also a really 70s sort of detail where she is visibly wearing a whole face of stage makeup and goes, I still have to finish my makeup, which is great.
Yeah, a thing that I absolutely emotionally resonated with for the first, year of my transition before I finally finished laser.
Oh, the year of sweating through the upper lip foundation.
Just
Yes, I recall.
troweling
Yes.
it on like the orange color corrector to it was, laser and estrogen, and like it will end. You will eventually feel more femme without makeup than you do with makeup.
But the thing is, the Los Angeles Police Department has deployed a short king to just bother people until homicide clearances fall out.
I'm in your house. I'm watching your TV. He sort of like parks himself down and starts watching one of Anne Baxter's old movies. And here is where things get even more transgender than they could have possibly been
Yeah,
thus
this is
far.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, for real.
In terms of the dowsing rod of lesbianism and transgenderism over this, I just emotionally seem to have honed in on what seems to me to be an absolute banger of a transgender episode.
You do a little cross-dressing.
Yeah, she is fully like in a noir, like she is wearing fully men's clothing. This fucking hat that she's wearing in this TV show. Holy cow.
She's dressed like Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
Anne Baxter is trying to make the hat work. She is trying to make the trench coat work, and she is succeeding.
She's pulling it off. She's
Yeah.
absolutely positively pulling it off.
She looks fucking incredible.
Within the fiction of the film, like, she is trying to get away with murder by having her, like, silhouette mistaken for that of a man. Right.
Yeah.
And Columbo is watching this with sort of, he's engrossed, he's captivated by her.
Yeah, this is the black and white opaque from I Saw the TV Glow brackets 1940s. The thing about all detectives is that every detective, like Anne Baxter here, has within them an aging Hollywood starlet. And that's something I resonate with emotionally. But he's watching this, and again, it bothers him. He sits and he looks so perturbed. Got his thinking knuckles up against his thinking temple, as he often does. Smoking a green cigar. Were cigars just green
Incredible.
back then? I don't know if that's normal.
He sort of pushes on her until she tries to kill Parks.
This is when he tells her that they have realized that it wasn't just kids letting the air out of the tire. There was no evidence of like a nail puncturing this tire. It seemed to insinuate that like there was a deliberate attempt to make them swap cars rather than just being an accident that they happened to swap cars, which means that we shift our investigation from who has a motive to kill the gossip columnist, fucked complicated because there are like suspects for days and days and days.
Yeah, because this guy fucking sucks. Like, there's a lot of people who would want him gone.
You know, how many people can I list off the top of my head who might want to Morgan? I'm going to have to bleep that.
Oh, yes.
But, you know, it's a long list. And we then shift that focus of interrogation to the far, far simpler, who has a motive for killing the secretary? And Anne Baxter here is hyperventilating.
Yeah, because there's really only one person who could potentially want her
Reaching
dead.
for big thermos.
Yeah.
Maybe the gossip columnist, but he's already got an alibi. He was at the bookstore at the time. We know this.
Exactly. And so we have another of these like fucking movie fake out ad break reintroducing you back to the show after a commercial break.
Yeah, they love these.
Third time's the fucking charm.
She's like driving away from the cops who are trying to pull her over.
Yeah.
But then it's a set.
It's the thing from Perfect Blue again.
Yeah, they get to show you the car set, which is actually really cool.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the sort of biggest disparities between how cool a set looks versus how cool the shots that you get on it look.
Because a little half a car.
Yeah, all of the old kind of like rear projection stuff always looks so bad, but the set they used to film it looks incredible.
Yeah. We take a short break, and Anne Baxter...
She gets all her ideas from work. She's just like, oh, vehicular homicide.
Yeah, she dons her, like, murder headscarf and puts on her murder glasses.
She's so real.
And not satisfied with, like, trying to burn someone to death in their car, she gets in her car and tries to run down the gossip columnist.
Yes. Yes,
It's
bad
funny.
idea. And this is something that happens in a lot of episodes of Columbo too, which is the suspect will already be under heavy heat, but still there's the possibility that they might be able to get away with it. But because they are under heat, they do something incredibly reckless and stupid.
Yeah.
In some cases, it's returning to the scene of the crime, or in other cases, it's attempting to eliminate somebody wwho could lead Columbo to them, as in this case.
Yeah.
And yeah, she misses, right? He does not, in fact, get hit by the car, and now she's fucked.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful shot for when you don't have the budget for a stunt guy dodging a car, where the car drives past him really fast and the cameraman pulls focus off.
Very funny. Very
It's
funny.
so
really
good. It's so good.
Columbo arrives to investigate and immediately goes, is anyone a Shriner?
Yeah, he's like, I need a Shriner's ring.
Indulge me.
And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? But eventually someone is like, here you go, I've got it. And he takes this ring in a little paper envelope to go and just stroll right across a movie set while they're filming. His like shadow
loves this stuff. He
looms
loves it.
in the background.
Very funny.
It's incredible.
That's not a guy who is insecure about masculinity. That's a guy who is thrilling in it. To be like, oh, I'm the horrible little gremlin.
Okay, that's a check on the trans mask side of the board. I will concede that.
He's a horrible little goblin boy. And there's, you know,
He's so good.
There are cis men who experience masculinity that way, but there are
I
also
agree.
a lot of trans men who experience masculinity that way.
So he goes to find Nora and he says that this ring has been handed in by the gossip columnist. And he's pulling some incredible faces here.
Oh, yeah.
He's a contortionist. It's incredible.
Peter Falk, incredible actor.
He's extraordinary. He's really, really, really talented. He's saying that this ring has been handed in. Do you know what this could possibly be about?
Because this guy, he was hit by a car.
Right.
We don't know who by. He's in a coma in the hospital. He's probably gonna die.
Yeah.
And he's not sort of overhyping this at all, right? He's delivering this sort of very convincingly. But it's like, you know, in square brackets, speech 70. This guy is in the hospital. Someone must have been trying to get at him for what he knew about
Whatever
guess,
this ring is, I
Could
guess.
you help me with this? I'm kind of confused.
And she is like pissing herself with fear.
This is one of the other things that I love about Columbo, things that Columbo does, is he will be operating on a hunch that like, oh, this key item or this key narrative holds a certain weight
Yeah.
that we don't necessarily see, but I know that this is the way to get my suspect to crack.
Yeah.
And so he will set up some sort of a very elaborate sting or other lie of some sort that will immediately impact the suspect in a way that will make them give up fucking everything. And of course, because it's Columbo, it works every time.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's kind of like subjunctive detective work insofar as he's sort of anticipating that in the narrative of how this murder like could have gone down, this is what would need to be the case
Right.
for that theory to make sense.
Right.
And so he then goes looking for this thing that would make this conjecture make sense. It's not like he's found evidence and he's sort of like following that thread. He is sort of engaged in this act of like imaginative creation.
Right.
So if it was her, how would it work like this? If it was him, how would it work like this?
She is so rattled by all of this that she makes her excuses. And I have to say this, Anne Baxter, fantastic actress, very funny run, and they shoot a lot of it.
Sprinting in heels. Yeah.
Yeah, runs in heels all the way back to her bungalow, where Columbo has instant transmissioned himself ahead of her.
Yes. He is astral projected.
Yeah. This is a thing he can do. He's been charging it the whole time.
Exactly. Like climbing a ladder in Disco Elysium.
The thing is, he, like Kim Kitsuragi, he thinks with his notebook. He finally confronts her with it. He's like, you killed your own assistant, and he tried to kill Parks as well. And she admits it, and goes, how did you know? And he just quite openly says, yeah, I was playing hunches the whole time. Legend.
It's like shot in the dark, but
it's all,
thanks
it's
for
all
the
little pieces. And he goes to this like constellation of very crumpled notes, loosely orbiting a notebook cover, and goes, well, all of these little details bothered me.
Yeah.
You know, it bothered me that your fountain was dry and your husband disappeared, and maybe like that only made sense if your assistant knew a secret. And you wanted to stop that secret getting to the blackmailer. Maybe it's got something to do with your husband. And maybe you didn't want to sell. And maybe the fountain doesn't work because your husband is buried under the back.
The thing about it is the fact that judges tend to not look too kindly in a court of law on the shot in the dark mode of investigation, right? Like,
but the thing is,
she admits it.
Exactly. Like, and this is how it often works with Columbo. Sometimes he is actually able to get enough evidence that is admissible that it would nail them down in a court of law. But in a lot of cases, it's just knowing that Shriners tend to be buried with their rings because they give a shit about that. Knowing that she would freak out if a ring showed up that appeared to be the ring from his dead body.
Yeah.
Because then immediately she would have to book it to the place that he was buried. Like, how the fuck? How did they get to the body? How did they get his ring?
Yeah.
What does this all mean? It's instilling that immediate panic reaction and then getting to the point where he can confront her, knowing that she'll be in the state that she's willing to make a confession that is not under duress.
it's true.
It's also neatly innocuous that it's not entrapment.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he sort of solves the murder of her husband incidentally because like he had been seen going on his boat and he realizes, oh, you just take stuff from work. That was you. You murdered him. You buried him here. You took his boat out. And then you scuttled the boat and I guess swum?
And specifically, she disguised herself as a man,
Right.
so
Yes.
that there would be a witness to her husband, who is, again, the same height as she is.
Right.
And this is a very, very important little bit because that's the reason why she was able to disguise herself as her husband. And as he says this line, you were able to dress up as each other because you were the same height. The camera is doing a two-shot where Columbo and Anne Baxter are the same height. And it's again, I don't think I'm stretching this too far from a trans feminine reading, but trans feminine reading in one corner, trans mask in the other, title match 9 at 9. I have got muscle atrophy on my side. and the other side have testosterone. I'm realizing I might be outmatched here.
I am curious for both of you, because this was your first Columbo episode. Were you tracking this the whole time? Did you figure out how he was going to catch her before he did?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I knew broadly his bit, which is to do just one more thing, right? And to catch someone in a lie by being sort of innocuous and by bluffing that he knows less than he does. But to see it played this way, just beautiful.
It was joyous. Yeah, I had really fun time.
Did the body in the backyard, was that something that you had clocked yet, or was that also a surprise?
I did not, no.
Okay. I didn't either. I'm just curious.
I'm an attentive viewer of Columbo.
I watched this at about sort of 20 past midnight this morning, having just edited the Blade Runner episode, which got uploaded at midday today.
This stuff happens. This was also a 1 a.m. watch for me, for what it's worth.
Thank you so much for being able to be here so last minute.
Oh yeah,
We
no,
really
hell yeah.
appreciate
Look,
it.
I am embarking on something that I am calling the podcast challenge. I'm trying to go on 52 podcasts in 52 weeks.
yes, same.
Thank you for helping me accomplish my objective.
Well, happy to be of service.
I've just got to start another 47 of them, I guess.
Yeah, well, 47.
The
47.
final shot of this movie that I want to end on, though, as she realizes that the jig is up and that
Yeah, she's cooked.
her
She's
goose is
washed.
cooked, she says, "I'll get my coat and we'll go." And this
Yep.
is sort of following right on the heels of the fact that, made the comparison to the fact that they are the same height, and that's the reason why they can sort of play this sort of gender ambiguous game. She goes and she gets a long brown coat and leaves alongside Columbo, also wearing a long brown coat.
We have a thing that we like to do here, which is to ask,
2 questions.
obviously, first of all, is the detective transgender? To which the answer is yes.
Absolutely.
I don't think we have to specify what kind, but
no.
The 2 questions that we do ask are, did Columbo protect and did he serve? Now, as for the protection, he does almost get a guy killed because of his style of investigating this.
He does. I also imagine that, the attention span on this guy is borderline gonna make him a dangerous driver, especially in that old banger, right? In terms of who he's protecting, he's endangering pedestrians in Los Angeles
Also,
every day.
I know that this woman has killed 3 people, right? But all for pretty well enumerated grievances. I don't know that she was gonna kill again, so...
This seems like the kind of thing that's once that loose thread is tied up, I reckon she would have been fine.
I think it's a bit of a reach to hold Columbo in any way liable for her attempting to run that guy over, though. I think that she probably would have done that, or at least attempted to do that, more or less regardless of who was on the case and how they were attempting to get her. The noose was tightening no matter what, and that was something that she did out of pure desperation.
That's fair.
I don't
Fair.
think that has anything to do with Columbo himself.
I guess in that case he does protect, but it's a pretty fine... He investigates more than he protects,
Well, he's a
It's
detective.
kind of unusual. The question is, does he serve?
Oh, he serves, honey.
Yes, he does. Yes, of course he does. Come on. That is a guy who loves how bad he smells.
Yeah.
Is the
Aw.
thing.
If you
Transvast coded? Transvast coded?
Okay, well, if only Mia were
We
here.
will get Mia's opinions retrospectively on the next episode.
Yeah.
But I think we're basically unanimous that he serves. We've come to a consensus that he protects. We're strongly pro Columbo here.
We love Columbo here at Be Gay Solve Crimes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to devour as much of him as I
Yes.
possibly can. I've fallen in love immediately. He's astonishing.
Please be in touch with me, Lucy, when you do, because I want to hear your thoughts. Again, particularly about the costumes. This is such a costume-forward show.
Well, I heard that episode 1 of Columbo is directed by an then unknown Steven Spielberg.
That's right. That's
which
right.
is
My
just
God.
incredible. So I'm very much looking forward to
He
it.
cut his teeth on Columbo, and that was how he made some of his first connections at Universal.
Amazing. This was a beautiful episode of television. Josh, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Yes.
If the people want more Josh, they can listen to Ill Conceived.
Yeah.
They can listen to The Worst of All Possible Worlds.
They can.
Where else can they find you?
Well, first of all, Thank you for having me. Thank you for roping me in for a last-minute podcast. I love doing it.
Absolutely.
I, as you said, co-host 2 shows. Ill-Conceived, which is a podcast about natalism, the ideology that sees declining birth rates as the most pressing issue of our time, which is not our position, but we're very interested in understanding why that position is something that is gaining increased purchase. Spoiler alert, it does turn out that a lot of it is coming up with hasty rationalizations for patriarchy and racism, but there's also more to it than that. And so if you're interested in finding out what's going on, please do go check out our show. I also host a show called The Worst of All Possible Worlds. We do weekly case studies in the pop culture of a dying empire. And one of the things that we are very interested in is cultural narratives that either contribute to or countervail this decay that we find ourselves in. And it turns out we've done an episode about Columbo. We didn't talk about this episode. We talked about a few other episodes, but if you're interested in that one, it is actually one of our Patreon episodes. Now, if you want to look before you leap, if you don't want to take the plunge, I've got even better news for you, which is that November Kelly herself has been on multiple episodes of our show and may in fact be on another episode in the near future,
true.
Question mark?
Very likely.
It's
It seems very likely to me.
Yeah.
More likely than you think.
All of BA Self Crimes is at your disposal for guest episodes, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we talked with you about, I want to say, what was it? It was Far Cry 5,
Far Cry 5 and Hitman.
Hitman, and Call of Duty Call of Duty
Yes,
Modern
I
Warfare
remember that
Roman
one.
numeral
One
2.
from memory, yes.
I remember the Far Cry 5 one.
Yeah.
That was,
And last but not least, if you'd just like to follow me around, my website is joshborman.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at bosh.worstpossible.world. Those are my plugs. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much for listening. We have a Patreon. You can subscribe to that. The most recent bonus episode
was Blade Runner, baby. Yeah.
Episode G. Episode H, I think, is TBD. But
it is TBD because we do not have a Mia with us, but it will be at the same gay time, same gay channel.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Amazing.
Hey, thanks for listening to that episode of Be Gay Self Crimes. Wasn't Josh great? We'll definitely be getting him back on in future, I'm sure. If you like that, you can subscribe to our Patreon, where we have episodes about Disco Elysium and Silence of the Lambs, L.A. Noire, Who Shot Mr. Burns, The Simpsons two-parter, Nick Valentine from Fallout 4. We've got so many of them, and you can listen to them all for the low, low price of £5 a month, which will also get you access to every bonus episode that we're gonna do for as long as you subscribe. I think it's a really good deal. I think you should check it out. If you are already a subscriber to our Patreon, we love you romantically is the thing, and I especially want to thank our £10 and above patrons who are, at time of recording, Transfem Oscar Wilde, Saturday's Claire, Jordan Gammy, Sparky, Robert Greensmith, Chloe Salzenberg, Transfer Productions, Dalton Fitzgerald, April, Girl Pile Evangelist. I don't know what that means, but it sounds fun. Clocky Galadriel is real and is proud of you. Fenris Mayday, Sonia with a Y, Moss, Wearing My Top Hat at the Best Tilt, Kyle Clark, Gil the Gilded Dragon, Audrey Whitpittman, Balakatina Gaviscon, Yarin Co., Codex O'Healy Melcher, Helen, Puppy Toys, Starlight Foxalope, Mayotaculus, Monsieur Squirrel, the Reverend is cautiously trialing the name Halcyon for now, or just Hal for short, Sirob Kassin, Rachiology, Princess Reese, Cat-eared Help Desk, open brackets, derogatory, Persimmon, Shally Wolfie, Keith D. Jones, Lilith Dyke, Bananalog is becoming a sword lesbian, Charlotte, Red Ash VA, Armored Contempt, Liz Rossi, Maxi Mayu, Whir, Columbo's Dog, ACXG, Faye, Gwen, Wife of the Show, The Informant, A Regulator, Brianna the Midwest Transplant, Halsey, Grace is a Dog, Woof, Phil Collins, Charlotte with a D, and Maggie Parrymantle and her dog Patch. Oh, hello Patch. Thank you so much for subscribing, all of you. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. And Mia will be back with us next time for I, Robot. See you then.
In order to lay pipe, somebody would have to have been dressed like a man.